Sharon Rogers, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Wells, Maine. And every Friday, I like to, oh, I better get Crash's better side. I like to come to you, along with my buddy Crash, to you and bring you a project at 7:30 every Friday. I think I said that before I got distracted by Crash. Anyway, Crash and I are excited to be here, and I hope you are as well, whether you are watching live or if you are catching the replay. So I'm going to put this in the holder just a second. Crash, do you want to say hello first? Crash. Crash does not want to say, oh, there he goes. Crash had a vet appointment today, so he's probably still a little angry at me. But he did well, he's healthy and happy, and he's got his murderous claws, as the vet said, all trimmed. So he's ready to go, and I am ready to go. So let's put you down. We'll turn this around and get started. All right, here we go. Let's see. All right, putting it in the holder here. I got a little bit of a mess going on right here, but that's all right. We will make do. So I've got a fun fold for you tonight. And I'm going to be, now I thought that this paper, this Traditions of Christmas, was going to be out of stock longer than it was. It came back unexpectedly a little bit sooner than I thought, and I just love this paper, and I hope you will as well. So we're gonna need a little bit. We're gonna need 3 different patterns here, and I'm not quite sure which 3 I'm going to use. This one's pretty nice. I need something that's not too large, and I need a couple that are a little bit more subdued. I kind of like this one too. Let's use this one because we can use both sides of this. And then what do I want? I think I can use, yeah, I'm going to use this sheet too, because that's going to give me a nice focal point. And let's see, so we've got this, and that's a little too much, I think. Maybe the green. I might have to make a little bit of a decision later. I'm not sure. Let's see what else we got. The plaid. Oh, choices. Well, I'm gonna hold off for a second. Let's get the base of the card going first anyway. I'm gonna bring in a piece of real red cardstock. Oh, and while I'm doing that, I think what I'm gonna do is call it up on my computer screen so that I can see what you're seeing and make sure, you know, that things are the way they're supposed to be. All right. So we're starting with just a regular piece of basic or real red cardstock. And let's see here. Okay. I don't know where my keyboard is. Okay, here we go. There we go. All right. So let's see, I should be here. All right, so here's my real red cardstock, and I'm going to cut it down. I want to cut it the hot dog way though, so I'm going to cut it at 4 1/4 across the short side, so I have a long strip. I have a 4 1/4 by 11-inch strip. Don't forget to say hello to me. Hi, Sheila. Sheila's there. And then you want a piece that is 5 1/2 inches wide. So this is just like a card front size, but it's not a card itself. Oh, there is a delay with me watching it. That is super unhelpful. All right, so we have this. We're going to set this aside for just a bit. We're going to bring this piece back in and score it. Now you can use a simply scored board, or you can use just the light gray portion of your, or the scoring blade on your trimmer. And let's see, we are going to score it at 2 inches, 3 3/4, 7 1/4, which means I need to move some of the stuff out of the way. 7 1/4. and 9. So again, this piece that we're working on right now is 4 1/4 by 11, and I scored it at 2, 3 3/4, 7 1/4, and 9. All right, now we need to work this into a fun fold, and let's see if I can find my bone folder. I've got one of them here somewhere. I happen to be working on some Christmas cards, some directions for a Christmas card. So the desk is a little bit of a mess. All right, so you've got 5 sections when you see your score lines here. Let me see if I can show them to you a little bit closer. Let's see. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this middle one, you're going to take and score it and fold that in on the score line that is adjacent to that middle piece. Same thing on the other side. You're going to fold that one and burnish it as well. And then you're going to take this wing and fold it back. Okay, so you've got this one folded over and you're going to fold it back. All right, so let's see here. So it looks like this, and you're going to say, but wait, this sticks out a little bit. It is supposed to. Okay, this is not your full card. What we're going to do is we're going to, not yet, but we're going to stick this on here, and now you can see it looks like it's a regular card size. All right. Now here is where we want to bring in some of our DSP. So we need, as I mentioned, we're going to need a few things here. Let's see. I'm going to bring in another pattern that I have here. You know what? I like this pattern a lot. I do. And that brings out the Secret C a whole lot more. So I think I will bring that one out and use that one. And this one has a real red / cherry cobbler on the back, but I'm really just going to be using this side. And then I will use that other one that has the Secret C on it. So this is the one that I want shown quite a bit. So I need a layer that goes here and here. Now, if you look, this measures 2 inches wide and it's 4 1/4 inches tall. I need a piece of DSP that is going to be just a little bit shorter and a little bit narrower. So I need 2 pieces that are 4 by 1 3/4. So I'm going to get this paper out, and I want 4 by 1 3/4. And this is non-directional, and it's so helpful if it's non-directional. But if it's directional, you want it to be portrait. So here is, let's go 1 3/4 this way. 1 3/4. And I need it to be 4 inches long. So 2 that are 4 by 1 3/4. There's 1. And there's 2. I also need something that's going to go out on these sides because those are going to be exposed. And those are going to be 4 inches tall. Every DSP piece is going to be 4 inches tall or wide. It is tall though because of the way everything is oriented. I'm just going to cut this again. This is non-directional paper. Actually, I probably should have cut it on the other side. This is the side that we're going to use. That's 4 inches, and I want 2 of them that measure 1 inch. There's 1 inch. And here's another inch. Now, before I really decide what other designer series paper I want in here, I'm gonna start gluing, because I'll be able to make a better decision once I see how everything is coming together. So you're gonna take this piece and apply your favorite adhesive. And then, oop, I got glue where I don't want it on me. And you want to apply it to the left edge so that the top, left, and bottom all have about the same margin. That looks pretty good to me. And we're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. This is like a double gatefold, or I don't know what you call it. I think different people call it different things. So there we have that one. Now this piece is going to go right in here, and this back section just cuts over those two just a little bit. So this middle section right in here is where you're going to apply some more adhesive. And because it's 4 1/4 tall, that's great, because I'm just going to line it up top and bottom and center it. And I can, if I peek underneath it, which you can't really do because I'm doing it, I'm just seeing where it hits the blue pieces. And I want to get that as centered as possible. So I need to come left just a little bit. Okay, that looks pretty good. And I want to make sure that the bottom is flush and the top is flush, so everything's straight. That looks pretty good, and you can see when I've got that down, this looks that's about as much exposed on one side as the other. So that's good. So now we have this fun fold that goes on here. And I've cut these pieces, and they're gonna go right there. So let's go ahead and put those down. All right, and again, you're just going to center those in that section. Okay. One more to go. This really does come together pretty simply. All right, so there we have that. Now I have to decorate the inside. So we're going to put a piece of white here. But what do we put in the rest of the area? Do I put some of this? I think that's too busy. Do I put the green? That's not bad, and it's kind of festive for Christmas, so let's do that. So this section right here is not the same as the other section. So if I measure this section, it is 1 3/4. So I'm going to need one that's 1 1/2 inch. So 4 by 1 1/2 inches. I wonder if I have enough. I do. So I'm going to cut 1 1/2 inches. And then I'm going to cut a 4 and another 4. I just love this Traditions of Christmas Designer Series paper. All right, now I know a bunch of others of you are watching. Go ahead and say hi. I'd like to know who's watching. Sheila wants to know who's joining her too. Hey, Sheila, is Sam joining you? Or I should say, is Sam joining Crash and I tonight? Crash and me, I guess, is the proper English. It's funny, he's not really a very sociable cat. Like, he's not a snuggler, but he does love to be with us. He likes to snuggle on his own terms. Like, you can't hold him. You can't snuggle with him. He has to snuggle with you. Which, for the most part, is okay. sometimes, you know, I just want a little bit more from him. All right, I'm gonna bring in a piece of basic white. And let's see, this inside here measure, this piece inside here, I'm gonna need to be 4 by 3 1/4. So the 4 is tall and the 3 1/4 is wide. Doesn't really matter because it's, you know, it's white anyways. Oh, that is already 3 1/4, which is great. I'll just cut that at 4. And that's gonna go right in here. I really like that green. It's very pretty. By the way, I could have done the Secret C inside as well as outside. Doesn't really matter. It's really up to you. I just thought I'd use different designer series paper. So this way. I love the glue because it gives me that little wiggle room. So this is where Merry Christmas can go. Okay, now I've got this gatefold hidden here. Now, if there's a bit of a gap, which you don't want, sometimes it's just a matter of just coaxing it with the bone folder, just ever so little. And you can do that pretty easily. I don't really have much of a gap though, so I'm good. All right, so now we need to put on a focal image. So what are we gonna do for that? I say we bring in a shape. Let's see, should we do stylish shapes or spotlight on nature? What do you think? Stylish shapes or spotlight on nature? Chime in for me. Oh, Sheila says that Sam is watching as well. Always happy to have him. All right, did you guys decide yet? Stylish shapes or spotlight on nature? Well, while you're doing that, I'll wait for you to chime in. But you're gonna have to chime in. I don't wanna have to make all the decisions myself. I'm gonna come back to this paper and I'm gonna pick out one of these flowers to die cut. I might as well do this one because it has the most in common with everything else. It's got the red flowers. So let me go ahead and try not to interrupt that one above it. But there's a die that cuts this out in the Christmas greeneries. I need to get that one out as well. Hold on. It's around here somewhere. Just organized everything. Which probably means I'm gonna have a hard time finding stuff. Here we go. So here's this. You can see you have all sorts of greenery that I could add. That would be fun too. Maybe do that in Secret C because that's sort of what you see back here. I think it's supposed to maybe represent a Douglas fir. I'm not sure. That sounds really good to me though. Sounds like I know what I'm talking about. Oh, let's see. Sharon Berkner. Hey, Sharon. Another Sharon. I don't meet a whole lot of Sharons, do you? I'll tell you where I meet the most Sharons. Stampin' Up. I know more Sharons in Stampin' Up that are Stampin' Up demonstrators. It's funny when I go to On Stage, which is a demonstrator event. I don't know, Sharon, if you're a demonstrator or not. But when I go to demonstrator events and I'm looking at the achievement boards, they they generally organize it by first name, and there's a ton of Sharons there. It's so crazy. The other place where I found a lot of Sharons, I recently led a trip, a senior trip to Pennsylvania through our church, and the most common name of people on that trip was Sharon, which is so bizarre to me. There were 3 of us. I just told them if there were any problems, go to one of the other Sharons. There were no problems, so It was fine. All right. All right, you are a demonstrator. Where are you from, Sharon? And in honor of our name, sorry, Sheila, you're not going to win this time with Stylish Shapes. I'm going to use Spotlight on Nature. Got to go with somebody else that has my name. All right, let's see. Let's cut this out. All right, beautiful. And then while we have this still going, you know what? We've got this portion right here. I think I'm going to cut again, even though it's just a little bit. You guys know what I'm doing with this? Have you figured it out? I bet you have. I'm going to bring in a piece of basic white and bring in my Stylish Shapes dies. I mean my Spotlight on Nature dies. All right. Yes, I am doing it on the inside. That's correct, Sheila. All right, so I want a fairly large one, but not too large. So I'm going to bring in the front of this card, and I think this would be a pretty good size. I think this one is, that one's pretty large. It covers up too much DSP, I think. So let's go with this one. I like the crimped edge anyways. All right, let's see here. All right. I think I got all my plates that I need. Let's bring my machine back in. All right. Ooh. Almost done. We're just going to have to stamp something because, you know, we kind of like to stamp. Let's just take this piece off. Make sure I'm not throwing away any dies. Okay. So now what I have, I'm going to put this right here, and when I'm adhering this to the front, I want to be careful. I want to make sure that I'm only adhering the left side, I suppose, or the right side, but just one side. And so really pay attention to where you're putting your dimensionals when you do that. But first we need to stamp. But I'm gonna put this right here. And I think that looks pretty. So we just need a really little something there. Let's look at the coordinating traditional labels here. Let's see. We could do Mary, but the Mary up here is curved and I don't really like that. I could do the larger Mary though. Let's get the larger Mary out, the cursive one. Let's see, might be too large. Might be too large over here. Yes, it is too large. Unless I put this way off to the side, which I can do. Yeah, let's do that. Get a block here. We'll stamp before we stick anything, because that stamped image is what we need to really focus on. So let's go ahead and do Mary, just like that. And while we've got this out, we may as well bring out the Christmas. That can go on the inside. Put that out of the way. Anybody got big plans for the weekend? I do not. I'm going to finish cleaning my stamp room. Merry Christmas. That's how that's going to be. Now remember, I have this little piece right here. So it looks kind of large though. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it down a little bit more. Let's bring in my paper trimmer. This is the one that I want to cut down, not the other one. Almost grabbed the wrong one. So I've got a nice flat bottom here. So let's go ahead and just trim that off like that. let's see how this goes in here. Much better. Much better. Here we go. Here's our inside little piece. And I don't have to write too much inside, because you know I send enough cards that I can't afford to write a ton of stuff. So let's now get out our dimensionals. All right, we've got one that's got a couple of them left. So I can see I need one there, and probably right up here. And then I'll need one just out on the edge a little bit, right out here, just to stabilize it a little bit more. We're gonna center that top and bottom, I think. Let's see, I don't have any dimensional showing there, so that's good. And we will just add this little piece out here. And now this looks like what I need to do is glue some of it and use dimensionals on some other pieces that overhang it a little bit. So I'm going to use just a little bit of dimensionals, and I'm going to put them right behind the leaves up here. And I'm going to put them right by the bow on the bottom. And that should be, those should be good spots, I think. I don't want to put one out here because then it's not going to open, because that extends beyond. So you just got to keep in mind where you're putting your dimensionals. And so now I have that. Let's bring in some of these. These are still not in right now. So you could wait for these to come in, or you could pick something else. But I'm going to go ahead and use these, and I'm going to just, I think, take a red one and a green one. I'm going to tie in a bunch of colors. And a gold one. There we go. So there we have it, Merry and Christmas. And you're going to find that your envelope will keep things flat, and it will be much more likely to stay flat when the recipient opens it. The other thing you can do is just train it a little bit more with your bone folder. But going through the mail has a way of really keeping it, training it how it wants to go. So there is our card for tonight. Now I did this the other night on Tuesday with my team, my online team, and this is the card that we made. So same thing. I used the Gathering Together Designer Series paper, and these are the leaves from the Layering Thoughts bundle. So 2 cards, 2 holidays, both pretty quick and easy. Thanks for joining me. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Don't forget to join me at 3 p.m. on Sunday for my 12 Sundays of Christmas projects. I will see you then.